Today we're going to be installing some upgrades to the internal of this version 7 gearbox. Oh boy. So I'm going to go ahead and start with it from the actual gearbox form rather than the whole gun. I'll probably do a video where I start with the whole gun and get it down to gearbox later. But right now, I don't want to mess with that. And I'm also not going to reassemble it because I've already tried disassembling it once and I don't think it would have made a very good video. There's a lot of other videos of reassembling a version 7 gearbox that are a lot better. So all I'm gonna do is put the parts in. So first you want to take all the screws out. Got the two out of here. Got this off when I took these two screws out. Then got a screw here. Gotta put a lot of pressure on that one. Alright. Pull this piece off. Pull this. And unscrew the safety. The infamous safety switch I've been having problems with. But it's been working great since then. No problems to complain of. To complain of? About? Oh, whatever. You get the point. I'm going to pull the spring off of the trigger. Then we're going to flip this sucker over. On this side we got the contacts for the trigger and everything. Strong screwdriver. And I'm going to go ahead and take all the screws out of this metal plate. There's the smaller screw on the top of this plate. And under this plate you're going to find the where the trigger is attached and where the contacts to power the motor is attached. Got the fire selector under there, the actual piece that does it anyway. There's two springs on here. They might pop off, so just be real careful on this part because you don't want to lose them. Ask me how I know. This will come off. Then let's pull it up. Got one spring. And got the other spring. And pull off all these little silver bits. And trigger comes off. Flip her over. We got all the screws that actually hold the gearbox together. We start with the ones holding the motor on. Now, I would have been installing a motor today too, except I ordered a short type motor because I'd read in a forum that the Cyma M14 takes a short type motor. Unfortunately, the Cyma M14 takes a long type motor. So now I've got to return that. It'll probably be like, geez, a month or so. I don't know when I'm gonna get the next one because of all this quarantine and stuff. So we're gonna take these screws out of take the screws out of the shell of the gearbox. Just set them out of the way. I'm gonna go with this one next. So this is what I want in the middle, holding it together. And got that screw out. Last screw right here. Now this is an important part. So if you're like me, you'll just crack this thing open. Do not crack this thing open. Oh, I almost forgot, there's a slider on top. Yeah, but do not crack this thing open. See, there's a hole right here. You're gonna want to put a screwdriver or something like that. It's got this little flathead here. I'll put it in there, and that'll actually hit the spring guide. You want to hold it down, because if not, the whole spring in here, I believe it comes with an M105 or 110 spring, that'll just push the spring guide out, shoot the spring guide and spring that way, shoot the shell of it that way, and then the bearings will fly out of the shell while you're waiting, along with all the shims. I see. While it's flying, my bad. Yeah, that happened to me. So, just gonna line this up. I got this little hammer here to break it loose. You can just slide this sucker off. You're going to keep some pressure on it after you do that. It may not explode on you. In fact, mine's not going to. I'm just doing it because it's a good habit. Actually, I'm going to use this screwdriver so I can use the flathead to peel this open. Unless I don't need to. Alright, there we go. So now we're going to very gently. There we go. Got it off. So today, I'm going to be replacing the spring guide, the spring, and the piston. If I can get the piston out. There we go. So for that, we're going to need to pull off the cylinder. And you're going to have to take the tappet plate with it and the spring for the tappet plate. Set these off to the side. Now if we look, I bet we have no air seal at all. Nothing. So this cylinder is shot. Or not cylinder, this piston's shot. Or the cylinder's O-rings are shot, I'm not sure. But I'm going to go ahead and grab the new parts here. We've got, I already opened it to make sure everything's nice and good. We've got a Cyma piston. Now this is exactly like the other, except we've got steel teeth, so it should be a lot stronger. Be able to handle the M120, or I could follow the package, the M125 spring by Matrix. And just to help hold all that in place, because it was honestly really cheap, and there's no real reason not to get one of these, is a bushing metal spring guide by Lonex. Clear off all this trash. Get these old parts out of the way. Oh, go ahead and hold them up for comparison. So the bushing here that lets it spin, which means the spring, when it's compressing, can rotate freely and it won't bind up. That's good. Helps with FPS and firing and such. Now we got the spring that came in the gun and the M125. And I already showed you the two pistons, so get that out of the way. Alright, so first I want to lubricate the O-ring so it has a good seal, doesn't rip or tear or anything. So we're going to use, I'm not sure if this is all that great, but I saw someone on YouTube do it, so now they seemed like they knew what they were doing. Totally trust everyone on YouTube. We got a Teflon grease. I'm just going to get a dab of that on this Q-tip and run it around the edges of this O-ring. Now, I really hope I'm right, because if not, I might have to get a new O-ring. And in quarantine, that's almost impossible. So I got around the edges of there. Oh, you probably couldn't really see that. I just went around the edges like that, then rubbed it on with my fingers. That seems like it's good. Gonna put a tiny bit down the rail that holds the piston in the right direction, the right configuration, so it's not spinning around and stuff. And there's already still a lot of grease in here, so I really don't need to lube it up that much. Next, we put it all together again. So, gonna get the tappet plate, put this nozzle right back on it, then line up the nozzle with this, and pop it right back in there. Make sure it's seated nice and good, goes between these two gears. I just noticed the bearing from the other side is stuck on there. Let me put that back. Alright, then we're going to take our brand new piston, well oiled. Going to, actually, yeah, we'll put it in here. Make sure it sits on that rail, doesn't want to rotate or anything. Still not getting any air seal. Oh wait, there it is. hear it leaking out the side. So I might get some Teflon tape later and go around the edges of my cylinder head. But it's a way better air seal, so we should see immediately better results. Okay. So next, we're going to want to take this, make sure the coiled side is facing the spring guide. And yes, I know this is sitting out, we'll get to it later, because you can't reassemble it the same way you would normally. Now this is the part where I'm going to cut off. The spring guide will sit in it like this, but I'm not going to show you this because I think my head was in the way too much, judging by what happened last time I tried to open this, and it'll take forever. So I'll come back to you once I have the gearbox closed. Alright, so, whew, man, M125 springs aren't easy to put back. I got it in there. Now you're going to want to make sure that you did in fact get the cylinder lined up on the two rails in there. My method is to line it up on the one side and pray it lined up on the other. You'll be able to tell if it doesn't. You'll have to crack it back open. But now we're going to get back to it. I've already put this slider piece back on, just slide it back on. I got the screwdriver here and just pushed it back till it locked up right there. Then you're going to want to take this spring, this is for the tappet plate. Going to shove it into there. See if I can. Alright, welcome back. Got the tappet spring back in there. Make sure that's pressed down. Don't want it popping out the side or anything. Alright, time to put all the screws back. Whoops. And this process is pretty simple, just doing the whole thing in reverse. The only little bit complicated thing we're going to get to is when we get to the springs on the other side of this gearbox. You have to hook them back up, and real small and everything. They hook up to tiny places. It's just kind of tedious. I'll probably just show you where they hook up and then skip over me actually hooking them back together because, as you can tell, I'm not great with doing springs on this, and it'd be pretty agonizing to watch. So next we're going to put the motor back on. And this is where I'm going to test it. Now I kind of sort of broke the motor, I'm not going to lie, but it does, or it should still work, because I think I put it back together the right way. That's a whole different thing. I was just trying to see if I could take the shaft out of the middle of it and put it into the short shafted motor that I bought, but good old Cyma welded it together, so that's not happening. Right, let me grab a battery real quick, and then see if this works. Make sure these are disconnected, that will be your trigger. It works. Much bigger spring, but that does show us, since it's firing, that it is in line with the rails, because if it was not in line, it would have shifted and this gear would not have made contact with the piston. Now's the easy part in comparison. Just gotta put all this back together. So, start off with this, we don't start off with this, I'm sorry. We're gonna start off on this side, because remember, I think it was easier when I tried this the first time. So, grab that, grab the safety switch. Took me hours to fix, but now that it's fixed, it works like a charm. Line that up, put the screw on there. I got a lot of difficult parts in here, so I'll probably be skipping around quite a bit, just for the sake that it's I wouldn't want to watch me do this, you know. Doubt you would. So that's on there. Line up the switch, put that there so it holds the switch in place. Go ahead and put the two screws back in. that's all together. Next is the spring. I'm gonna give it a shot. If I can get it first try, I might not skip over it. See, so put that spring on there, and wow. Alright, that side, except for these pieces, and the selector, we'll get to that later, is done. You know what, I think I lied. We're going to do this right now. So, let's pop that sucker on there. Yeah, put that on there. Put this actual safety switch itself on there. Whoops, I just have it in the wrong direction. So, you're going to want this little pointy bit here, you're going to want that facing down, I guess. I bet this is turning out to be a bit of a long video. Alright, test that. Yep, that works. Just put these two little screws back in there. And after this, we're going to be moving on over to the other side. I think we'll be all done with this side. Alright, first things first, we're going to put this little sucker on here. So this is kind of a accurate movement. You got the pin it rotates on, or a little pin here. So it's gonna slide the little pin into the trigger, and then get that pin it rotates on to slide into the hole there. So you pull the trigger, it should pivot backward. Then grab your little, I don't even know what to call this. Then it's gonna slide into the gearbox and into the hole for it to pivot there. And this contact here will be as holes drilled out of the side of the gearbox for it. Slide it on like that. And take this plate that goes over it and pop it on. Oh wait, of course, that's why I did that earlier. There we go. Then we'll pop this plate on, and this should hold it all together. We're going to start with the screw that's shortest, because that's the one holding on this top bit. Whoops. And hit it with the rest of these screws. Once these screws are in, we're going to be flipping over again and putting, oh wait, I almost forgot the little springs I warned you about earlier. These two little suckers here are really annoying. So one of them's going to hook on this little bit right here. Let me turn it up so you can see it. It's a little plastic piece and this hook, and then the other one's going to hook onto this little metal hook and this one. Doesn't matter which spring you use. So then, yeah, I'm just going to skip over this part. There we go. So remember what I said about being careful with these springs, paying close attention to them and everything. Heed my warning, because... Right, so I finished and I looked at my phone and I guess it overheated and died. I've never had that happen before. But I finished. All I really did was add this screw, and what I was saying when the video died was heed my warning with the springs. I lost him 3 whole times. Had to get my flashlight out and look for him on the floor. So I've tested it, it works and everything. Gonna show you the test fire, and it is empty and everything. I'm gonna put it on single fire. Take a look at this Teflon tape. It's doing pretty good. Thanks for watching. Sorry it's so long, there's a lot to put in it, so it kind of had to be this long. Have a good one.